June the 1st, and the Motocross Grand Prix World Championship arrives at Montevarchi in Italy for round 4. Roman Claudio Federici will be hoping to impress on home ground. Championship leader and so far unbeaten Mikael Pichon. Kenneth Gunderson, the second highest placed 250cc two-stroke on the Motor-X Kawasaki. It's Claudio Federici who set the fastest time during qualifying. Can he translate that into a desperately needed race win? At the front, Federici does get away well, shoulder to shoulder with Stefan Everts at the front. A terrible start for number 19, Gordon Crockard, puts him right out of contention. Federici, Everts, Pichon are the leaders. Someone's down on the inside. And Monique Bavote's awful luck continues. A mid-pack collision with the Motor-X Kawasaki of Kenneth Gunderson puts L&M Rinaldi Yamaha's Monique Bavote down, limping and out. A mud-spattered Gunderson picks up his Kawasaki. Can they make it back into contention as Stefan Everts rips inside Claudio Federici to snatch the advantage, brilliantly locking up, almost handbrake turning himself through a right-handed hairpin and taking the lead. The track, heavily watered, a little bit greasy. That clever, skillful, sensitive riding of Stefan Everts. Just feeling his way round the early stages of this tricky track. He's at the front. And boy, oh boy, would he like to win here, because his team chief, Michele Rinaldi, won his first ever Grand Prix round here at Montevarchi in 1980 on the Italian TGM in the 125cc Grand Prix series that year, when he finished second to Stefan's dad, Harry. Everts leads it. Federici is in second place. Pichon third. This time, Pichon once again having to do the chasing, but Everts is trying to make an early break. Joel Smets in fourth place on the number 3 450 KTM. And this quartet has broken away at the front. Federici trying to hold off Pichon for second place. The crowd enjoying Federici's return to form. The marshal almost falling over. He's too close for comfort just then. Realised that he just might get his head knocked off. Crowd support for Claudio Federici, as you would expect. Oh, and rather rude gestures directed towards Mikael Pichon. Obviously a popular boy here in Montevarchi. Stefan Everts leads. Federici at the moment holding up Pichon in third place. Pichon's going to have to find a way around the inspired Roman before he can attack the race leader. Oh, and he nearly does it then, but the extra grunt and torque of the 450cc Yamaha propels Federici out of the turn in front. Pichon perhaps not being quite as comfortable in this race as he did do when he was racing the sand in Valkenswaard, and Frank Schroyer knows it. Everts, L&M Rinaldi Yamaha in the lead past the grandstand. Federici, 450cc Decali Yamaha second. Pichon, 250cc Gabor Suzuki third. Fourth, the KTM of Joel Smets. Fifth, Christian Burnham, a terrific start for the Brit on the Honda. Ahead of Pit Byra, Loris Freibergs, Brian Jorgensen and Mikael Kadlacek. All eyes focused though on the quartet at the front, especially these three. She can't bear to look. Pichon, after 3 race wins out of 3, really enmeshed in the battle here. Oh, and he's down. Federici loses the front end, decks the Decali Yamaha and brings down Mikael Pichon. Pichon frantically straightening his clutch lever. Federici's also picked himself back up. This is what happened. Federici overstretching himself, caught out by that tricky surface, acts as a takeoff ramp for the luckless Mikhail Pichon. Fracturing, can't believe it. Pichon's down, he's lost a lot of ground. Joel Smets crept through on the inside, had plenty of time to take evasive action. He's secure in second place behind Stefan Everts at the front. Only takes a moment like that in live sport to completely upset the apple cart, and suddenly Mikhail Pichon has got stacks of work to do, and at the front the veteran Belgians, Stefan Everts and Joel Smets, are running the race. Everts, superb stylist, on his way to possibly becoming the most successful racer in motocross history. Mikhail Pichon, he's third, but the fourth place man Federici is determined to get back at him, desperately trying to find a way through. Ooh, side by side, and Pichon had to dip out at the last moment as he was outbraked by the Yamaha. So Federici, having ruined Pichon's race already, is wrecking it further by outwitting and simply outracing the Suzuki. Federici, former 125cc Grand Prix star, of course. His mentor, the former 500cc Grand Prix star of the 1980s, Claudio De Carli, brought him into the 125 GPs back in 1994. At the front, the battle between the giants. Joel Smets beginning to close the gap on Stefan Everts. Lots of trackside support from the Flemish Lion as he attacks the Yamaha. The battle for the lead in the Italian Motocross Grand Prix, round 4 of the 2003 World Championship. Smets won his first World Championship in 1995. Lost out in 96. Reclaimed it in 1997 and 1998. Lost out again in 1999 after a season absolutely fraught with mechanical problems. Oh, and Mikhail Pichon doing himself on his groin no good at all. Really getting desperate here in fourth place. Can't see any way back towards the front. Struggling to survive. He needs the points, especially with the spectre of Stefan Everts and Joel Smets clawing some back on him at the front. They're battling for the lead. Everts still has the advantage at Montevarchi. Stefan Everts cutting it so tight on the KTM we almost missed him out of our picture. Brilliant riding. And it needs to be if he's going to claw back the advantage. 151.63 for Everts on that lap. 151.63 for Joel Smets on that lap. Absolutely evenly matched. 0.003 of a second between their lap times. The 30-year-old Stefan Everts, the 34-year-old Joel Smets. They've almost got their bus pass between them. They've certainly got 10 World Championships between them. And producing a thundering spectacle here. Snarling four-stroke action in Italy. "15 minutes plus 2 laps remaining of this 35 plus 2 lap race. In 5th place, Pit Byra on the 250cc 2-stroke factory KTM. Still coming to terms with his new machinery after finishing 3rd in the 250cc Grand Prix for Honda. And of course we all remember that drastic showdown in 1999 with Frederick Bolle when they went down to the wire. Pit Byra lost out. Bolle became world champion for the first time. Closer and closer edges Joel Smets to the leader. Montevarchi, scene of top-class Grand Prix action for the last quarter of a century. Producing another epic here in front of a crowded grandstand. Stefan Everts could do with a race victory. He's 25 points behind championship leader Pichon. Meanwhile, Johnny Aubert on the Kurt Cazaly Yamaha, the 4-stroke 450 of the 23-year-old Frenchman, is catching 5th place Pit Byra and the KTM. Aubert headed for a career best 2nd place in the final round at Geldorf when the rear shock broke and injured him mightily in the last Grand Prix of 2002. Has made a complete recovery from those injuries. And here he is, back on the case. Looking good. The nephew of the great Jean-Jacques Bruno. The first Frenchman ever to win a motocross Grand Prix back in 1979. Can Aubert produce the passing move on Pit Byra? 5th and 6th places, 0.6 of a second between them. At the front, Stefan Everts, 0.7 of a second ahead of Joel Smets. Smets just not able to put that final push on the Yamaha. Sure, it's not a waiting game. He'd rather be in front. Certainly if you're in front, you're not swallowing someone else's roost. He's had plenty of time to look at Stefan Everts' lines. He knows where Everts is going on the track. He knows what he has to do to try and find a way through. Xavier Garcia-Vico enjoying this race. He is the factory KTM rider who's 3 times been beaten so far in the 650cc GPs by Joel Smets. There'll be an action at the end of the afternoon after this momentous motocross Grand Prix has been decided. Stefan Everts won here for Kawasaki in 1994 and then lost out to Kawasaki's Sebastian Tortelli in 1998 when the Frenchman pinched his 250cc World Championship. The World Championship Stefan Everts had won in 95, 96 and 97. Claudio Federici, he's never been crowned World Champion, but he's heading for a podium place in front of his home crowd here. Just outside Florence, the boy from Rome on the Decali Yamaha. Joel Smets is down. Joel Smets has slid off in his attempts to get the better of Stefan Everts. It's Smets who's made the mistake. Everts is clear at the front. Joel will once again have to settle for 2nd place. With 5 minutes plus 2 laps remaining, Smets makes the mistake and suddenly it's almost 10 seconds lead for Stefan Everts, and it looks as if he is going to repeat that victory of 1994, 9 years on at Montevarchi. Happy hunting ground then for the Belgian. Yes, you've done it. Michele Rinaldi there, a winner himself here on his TGM back in 1980. He'll be well chuffed. I bet he never thought he'd be returning 23 years later to be part of another victory, that of his team number 1, Stefan Everts. Federici, 3 number 1s means 3rd place on the podium. And there is Claudio Decali, his loyal mentor, keeping an eye on his boy. Stefan Everts has already won the 125cc Grand Prix on his 250cc 4-stroke Rinaldi Yamaha this morning. And it was Michele Rinaldi who suggested to Stefan Everts that perhaps he ought to start competing in the 125 GPs, find his way round the circuit, loosen up, get himself prepared for the Motocross Grand Prix. And it has worked big time. 2 Grand Prix wins on the day for Stefan Everts, number 72. What a brilliant performance from him. And Team Rinaldi know that their ploy has worked. And how? Stefan Everts breaks yet another record. The first man to win 2 Grand Prix on the same day. He often practices on the 250cc 4-stroke Yamaha, so they knew that he was quick on it. Boy, oh boy, did he prove to be. He beat all the 125cc Grand Prix specialists. Then he beat the Motocross Grand Prix contenders. Mikael Pichon down in 4th place. Yoshi Atsuta an excellent 8th. But Gordon Crockard, suffering from a broken finger sustained in a British Championship round at Culham, has to pull out. In the Riders' Championship then, Mikael Pichon still in the lead, but his advantage cut back by Smets and Everts. Crockard slips to 7th place in the table.